Hello, this is the 225 Q&A practice, and plaintiff will be questioning. Ready? 2 houses down. Correct. They were really good friends. They also helped keep an eye on my son and my children. Do you know how long they had been gone from your residence? I don't know. By my own knowledge, all I know is from what they told me. What did they tell you? Objection, hearsay. They walked straight there and back. Did they say why they walked over to the Torres? To talk to their friend Nikki. And did they tell you where Stephen and Daniel were at the time they left? Again, hearsay. They told me that Stephen was in the front yard. They didn't tell me where Daniel was, no. Did they tell you that Daniel was at your residence at the time they left to go over to the neighbors? Objection, hearsay. They didn't tell me that, no. I kind of took it for granted. If they walked away, he must have been there playing with his friend. Did your son Steve tell you what kind of game him and Daniel were playing? Objection, hearsay. No, not to my recollection. Did your son Stephen ever tell you why Daniel was climbing on the wall? I don't know. Did you ever ask Daniel at any time why he was climbing on the wall? Objection, hearsay. No, I don't believe I asked him. I tell my son not to climb on the wall. They know not to. Had your son ever climbed on the wall before? I saw him on the 3.5-foot part and I made him get off. Prior to this incident, when is the last time you saw him on the 3.5-foot part? 6 months, something like that. Did you know Daniel's mother? I did not know of her, no. I had not seen her before. Did you and she, following this incident, ever have any conversations? Well, objection, hearsay. No, I had one of my nieces. After I brought Daniel into the house, I had one of my nieces run to their house, and I had them call the paramedics. Did Daniel's mother respond? Yes, she came right away. Did you and she at that time have any discussions regarding what happened? Objection, hearsay. As to anything she said to him. Yes, she asked me what happened, and I said, from what I hear, that he fell. Aside from that one discussion, was there any other discussions about what happened? Just that Daniel was, objection, hearsay, Daniel was speaking to his mom and me at the same time. And what was Daniel saying? Objection, hearsay. He said that he was falling off the wall and grabbed onto the brick as he was falling, and him and the bricks both fell at the same time. Do you recall what kind of shoes he was wearing? No, I don't. So when Daniel said he was falling off the wall, did he say what was making him fall off the wall? Objection, hearsay. Not to me, he didn't say that. Did you overhear what he was telling his mom? Objection, hearsay. No. Do you know if Daniel had anything in his hands at the time he was falling off the wall? Objection, hearsay. I have no idea. I have nothing further. I have a couple of questions. Referring to this bottom laser point identified as Plaintiff's 3, which depicts a block apparently on the ground. Do you know? You mean it's 3 blocks, or it depicts something laying on the ground. Do you know on whose side of the wall this picture was taken? It looks to be from the neighbor's side of the wall. Why do you say that? Well, because the angle of these leaves out here, the trees on their side of the wall, even the ground, I don't believe even looks the same as it does on my side. And I don't think I have trash on the side of my house there. I believe that's right where they keep this trash can, which is probably why this bottle is here also. Mr. Gailey, what is your present address, sir? It is 19854 Kingswood Lane. K-I-N-G, 2 words or one? 1 word. W-O-O-D, Lane. Kings, plural, wood, W-O-O-D. Lane. That's in Huntington Beach? Yes, Huntington Beach, California. And what's your zip? 92646. And are you employed, sir? As of now, yes. Where are you working? At Goodyear Tire for about 3 days now, so I'm having to take a day off now, and it's kind of hurting me. Is it Goodyear Tire and Rubber or a shop there? It's a shop. And that's Goodyear Tire in Huntington Beach? Yes, sir. Do you know what street it is? Yes, it's on Brookhurst. When you saw Daniel, he was crawling along between the fence and your house on your side, right? No, I never saw him climbing on the wall. I mean, when you saw him, he was crawling along on the ground? Oh, yes, that's correct. When you observed the block wall fence that had fallen off, was it on your side of the fence or on the other side of the fence, or do you remember? You mean after the accident? After the accident. There was a brick on my side, yes. There was a brick on your side? Yes. Was it like one of these pieces here? Correct. looks similar to the one that's shown there? Correct. And it was on the far end next to the wood fence there. It wasn't right next to it. No, it was probably the second one. I don't know. I'm unsure how this thing fell. So we'll say it was 6 to 8 feet from this front side fence. And was there any partitions between this fence area there? Is there any partitions in this area there? Partitions as in what? I don't understand what you are saying. In this area alongside your fence, is there any boards between these? In between the openings, you mean? Right. No. No further questions. Mr. Gailey, you're indicating that the bottom laser photocopy on Plaintiff's 3 to your deposition is taken from your neighbor's side? That's correct. And you were present when this photograph was taken? I was at home when the person came to take the pictures. Yes, I did not follow her around and watch. Can I look at the picture, please? Do you recall the next day when you observed this extension block? Was it all 3 blocks? Yes, I believe it was. It was either 2 or 3. I'm not sure exactly. I would say 2 or 3. And was it? And it was on your side. It was in your yard, correct? On the side of my house. Yes, there is one. There is one. Do you know whatever happened to that block since then? Yes, not really. Did the person that came to take the photographs ever take custody of it? No, they're pretty heavy. It was a lady, and I'm not sure she could have even lifted it. They're pretty heavy. It was a lady. It remained in its location where you found it the next day? I believe it did. I can't really remember for sure, but I either made sure that it was flat on the ground so you know it wouldn't be tilted up, maybe fall on my dog or something like that, or I may have put it on a skateboard or something and removed it. I don't exactly recall, but one of the two. The interrogatory responses indicate that you're not claiming damage to the concrete wall, are you? What do you mean, trying to get money for damage? What are you saying? The response indicates that it was going to be appraised. Was it ever appraised? Well, I believe just in some paperwork it said something about that. But no, I'm not looking for any money for anything. No, I don't even live in this house anymore. I think the response was just to document whether anything was damaged. And we've just indicated, yes, there was damage to the wall. Because my homeowner's insurance, I'm sure if I were to still be living there, of course, I would still want it fixed. You never had it fixed during the time you lived there after it fell down, right? No, I didn't have it fixed. Like I said, I just checked the other uprights to see if, any were loose or a potential danger. Were any of them loose? I believe I was able to break 1 or 2 off. Yes, I gave it a lot of force because I wanted to be sure. So I really got it and pulled on it. And if it was loose at all, I jarred it back and forth until I could finally break it off. You used to store what? Your quad in this area? It was right up against the fence there, yes. Where was Daniel? He was crawling? Well, when I saw him crawling, he was not at the very front part. He was going towards the back of the house already. Half the distance down? Yes, half the distance. And did he tell you what he fell on? Well, objection hearsay. No, he didn't say. Do you know how he fell, how he landed? Objection hearsay. No, I could not know that. I did not. All I saw were the injuries that occurred. Do you know if he fell on the quad? Objection hearsay. I don't believe so. Lack of foundation? Is that what you said? Yes, lack of foundation. Okay. It was right by the front, by the position where he was, and even where I saw the brick the next day. It was like, I'd say 6 or 8 feet, and the quad is only 2 to 3 feet. See, it was up on its back wheels up against the wall. At an angle? Right, and the front wheel was up. Almost on the fence? Yes, 5, 6 feet high. And the block extension that you observed on the ground was approximately 6 or 8 feet in from the fence? Correct. And did you observe any cracks in the concrete between the block and the fence? No, I've never noticed them, no. Did you ever look for them? No, not prior to this accident at least. And is it your testimony that there was an extension here at the very end that's depicted here at the top of photograph of Plaintiff's 3? I couldn't tell you positively, but I believe there was, because there's on the opposite side of the wall, there is one on the front part, so I believe there was. And then the block extension that you observed on the ground would have been the very next one in line on the 8 to 6 foot opening? Probably. Did you tear the front extension down after this incident? Did you take it down by the time this photograph was taken? I'm really not positive which ones I pulled down after that. In August of 13, I checked all. I took it all down, yes. So as we sit here today, you don't have any recollection either way whether or not I don't know if I pulled that front one down or not. Otherwise, I would know if it was there. So I'm not positive. Do you have any information as to how this extension got onto the other side, onto your neighbor's side? No, I don't. Did your neighbors ever tell you that the block fell over? Objection, hearsay. What was your answer? No. Did your neighbors ever pull the blocks off, these extensions? Not to my knowledge. I have nothing further. Nothing here. Well, just one. Your indication is that the block is on the neighbor's side. That's just based on the general of some shrubbery there on the ground. You really don't know? That's your guess? No, it's not a guess. You're sure of that? Yes. Absolutely sure that that photograph is not taken on your property? 99% sure. 99% sure that the photograph was not taken on your side of the fence? That's correct. Offer the following stipulation: the court reporter be relieved of her statutory duties under the Code of Civil Procedure to the extent that she can be, that the original transcript of Mr. Gailey's deposition be forwarded to Ms. Powell for her custody and safekeeping. He can read, review, and sign his deposition under declaration of penalty of perjury. That we be notified of his signing changes and corrections, if there be any, within 45 days of receipt by counsel. If we're not so notified, then the original shall be deemed signed. If the original is lost or otherwise unavailable, then a certified copy may be used in lieu of the original as if it were signed original in any subsequent hearing or proceeding in this matter. So stipulated. So stipulated. Let the record also reflect I've given to both counsel copies of defendant Stephen Gailey's interrogatory answers. They will also be mailed. I just got the fax verification signed by the defendant on March 30th. Thank you. I would also like a copy in addition to this. All right. So that concludes our Q&A practice for the 225 class.